In this video, we're going to be talking about how to double your church fast. What's up, y'all? If we are meeting for the first time, my name is Chris Abbott, but all my friends just call me Abbo. And this channel is dedicated to creating insanely practical resources and church growth strategies. So here's the deal. I actually had a pastor friend of mine who texted me here recently and just said, hey, when you think of me and you think about the church, right, what should we do in order to double the church? Okay, so I actually sent him like a long text back. And then I got done and I was like, dude, you know what? That would make a great YouTube video. So that's exactly what we're going to do here today. Now, here's the cool thing. I actually took all of these ideas and more and actually put them into a convenient PDF that you can download for free. Just go over to churchfuel.com/101ideas and you can download that absolutely free. Okay, so number one, the very first thing is sermon-based small groups. Now, here's the deal. Every time I talk to some of the fastest growing churches around the country, they are always utilizing small groups. And I would say almost 10 times out of 10, it's the small group ministry that is thriving and that is actually pushing that growth. Sure, they've got a big front door, right? And they've closed the back door, right? Using those small groups. There's a lot of new visitors coming in, but what they're doing is they're driving those visitors into small groups. I'm a big fan of sermon-based small groups. So a great resource for this, if you want to learn a little bit more about how to do this, is Sticky Church by Larry Osborne. Great book, kind of walks you through the blueprint of exactly how to use sermon-based small groups. Number two, this one might surprise you, but it's pay social media like an employee. And I told him, listen, I think we should look at marketing as ministry and we should go all in on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We should literally pay them like an employee. And if it were up to me, we'd be spending $5,000 to $10,000 per month on social media ads. All right. What I would do is I would literally just spread those across Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube ads. I've had really, really good success with all three of those platforms. And then I also told him if we were looking to reach millennials and Gen Z, I would also experiment with TikTok ads. Not something that I have tried yet. I'm actually really excited about kind of experimenting, and I've kind of got a beta group of churches I think I'm going to give that a shot with and kind of see how they turn out. Right, but you're trying to reach millennials, especially Gen Z. That's where they're at. They're on TikTok. So I think those are that's a really cool platform to be able to reach those people. And then I also told them if we're looking to reach business professionals, I would even consider running some LinkedIn ads. Number three, plan your visit. Now, I've talked about this actually quite a bit on this channel. We've even got a playlist on Plan Your Visit, but I'm a huge fan of this, right? This is basically just giving people the opportunity to sign up and plan a visit, right? Basically schedule an appointment to visit your church on Sunday, right? That way you can call them after they sign up, connect with them, have a little bit of a conversation, answer any questions about, like what to wear and where to park and that kind of stuff. And then you can assign a friendly person, right? A host waiting for them at the front door to give them a tour of the building, help them get their kids checked into kids' church, right? Get them a free cup of coffee, make sure that they have a chance to meet some of the cool people in the church, right? Maybe shield them from some of the weird people, all right? Introduce them to some of the pastoral team, right? And that kind of thing. When we did this at my church, we saw explosive growth in our visitors, right? I think what happens is you actually lower the barrier of entry for unchurched people, right? It's a pretty scary thing going to church for the very first time if you're unchurched, right? But when you do this, say, hey, you can sign up for Plan Your Visit and we'll have a friendly person waiting for you at the front door, right? To give you a tour of the building, help you get your kids checked into kids' church, save seats for you in service, right? Show you where everything is. That makes people so much more at ease, and it helps. We ended up increasing our first-time visitors month over month, year over year by 42% in the first month, 60% in the second month, 87% in the third month, and 113% increase in the fourth month using Plan Your Visit in our visitors, right? So I'm sold on it. I think it's a huge deal. I would go all in. I'd put Plan Your Visit on my website and then all of my socials. All right, number four, meet the pastor. Now, here's the deal. 80% of people who meet the pastor on the first visit will come back for a second visit, right? It's one of the reasons that Plan Your Visit is so effective, right? And so you can make sure to just have all of your Plan Your Visit hosts make sure that they are introducing all of their guests to the pastor. But then you also need a way to collect all the people who are just kind of wandering in or maybe came because of an invite or they were just driving by and they decided to come check it out. And a meet the pastor is a great way to do this. Now, there's a couple different ways. I've heard of some churches doing like a party with the pastor, which is really cool, right? You do it every couple of weeks, maybe once a month, or a pizza with the pastor, right? And you have everybody come out. I think that's cool. I know some pastors kind of hang out in the back of the sanctuary or maybe like at the front door shaking hands for people that are coming in and leaving. The only thing with that, if it's a smaller church, you might have a chance to kind of have a conversation. But if you have, a good guest flow coming in, you're probably not going to have a chance to have any like significant conversations. You might be able to high five, fist bump, right? But you're not going to have some significant conversations. And I think that's what Meet the Pastor is all about. So having some type of Meet the Pastor every couple of weeks, maybe once a month, where people can actually come out to like a welcome party and they can hang out and meet the pastor, right? And as the pastor, they can hear your heart, right? Talking about it. I have a friend of mine who does this, and he uses this party with the pastor, right, to get people into small groups. And I love this, right? He'll just go out there and he talks to them, and he'll get a chance to like kind of meet everybody and have good conversations, right? And they'll just kind of address everybody and just say, man, thank you guys so much for coming to the church, man. I don't take it for granted, man. I appreciate you guys so much, man. I'm telling you, small groups have changed my life. They've changed the life of so many people that are in this church. And so if I could wave a magic wand, that's what I'd want for you. I would want you to jump into a small group. Another idea that you could use for Meet the Pastor is you could just have some type of kind of informal Meet the Pastor at the end of every service. You could, as the pastor or someone from the pastoral team, could actually just say, hey, if you're new here, if this is your first time or you've been coming a little bit and we haven't met yet, man, meet me up here at the front of the stage, right? Or meet me over here in this room right here. Man, I'd love to, shake your hand and get a chance to kind of chat with you a little bit and kind of get to know you. This is just a great way, and this doesn't have to be super long, right? 5-10 minutes after service, but just a way that all of the people who want a chance to meet you as the pastor have a chance to meet you as the pastor, and you can do that every single Sunday. Okay, number 5, I told him this is one of my favorite ideas. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, then you've probably heard me talk about this. It's the Monday morning selfie video. Okay, I love this, and I've seen this. Some of you guys have actually reached out to me on social media and emails and text messages and told me that you started doing this and that it just took off and exploded in your church. So thank you guys for giving me that feedback. The same thing happened when I started doing it at my church. So I can't shut up about this. Here's basically what you do. You are just going to take every single Connect card that you get on Sunday, and on Monday morning, you're just going to grab a smartphone and you are going to record a custom selfie video for every single new visitor that came in. So let's say you had 10 new visitors, right? Each of these videos is only 30 seconds to a minute, right? So even if you're long-winded, they're a minute. You had 10 visitors, that's 10 minutes out of your day, right? It's not going to take a long time, but you're going to text them to these people. And it's really, really important to make sure to use their first names so they know this was a video made for just them, right? Don't go like shortcut this and try to make one video and then just go text it to everybody. It's disingenuous and it's not going to come across nearly as powerful, right? But if all of a sudden, like, man, you got a video, right? So if you come to my church, right, and the next day, like on Monday, like you're at work and you're sitting there, and all of a sudden you get a video, right, texted to you, right, and it's me, and I'm, and here I am, like in a selfie video, and I'm just like, John, what's going on, man? Hey, Pastor Chris, hey, listen, man, I just want to thank you so much for coming out to church yesterday, man. I hope you and Heather had a great time. I hope your kids, like, man, Sally and little Johnny Jr., hope they had a great time in our kids ministry. Man, Pastor Deborah said that they were delightful to hang out with. She had a blast. But here's the deal, Sally, Johnny Jr., if you guys come back this Sunday, come find me. I'm going to fill your pockets with more free candy than you have seen since Halloween. Okay. Don't tell your parents, come find me. Right. Say something like that. Right. Just talk a little something to the kids. All right. Plus free candy. Who doesn't? Every kid wants free candy, right? It's a great way to get them back to church. Right. So, okay. So John, Heather, man, again, I just want to thank you guys for coming out to church. Man, it was great getting to know you. Right. Or, hey, man, I didn't get a chance to meet you guys. I'd actually love to meet you this Sunday, kind of face to face. So, man, we're doing it again like this week, man. Same time, same place, 10 o'clock. Can you make it? Boom. And then end the video. If you end it with a question like that, right, opens a loop in their brain, kind of like if somebody walks up to you and says, hey, my name's Chris. What's your name? You have to answer it, right? So it's the same thing, opens up a loop in their brain. And so now they're on the hook to respond to you, right? So you're going to get a lot of responses doing it that way. Plus, here's the cool thing. John's looking at that like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool. Pastor Chris just like sent me this video. So hey, come take a look at this video that Pastor Chris just sent us, right? Then when their kids get home from school, they're going to show their kids, right? Because you had a little something to say to their kids. Now that same video just got watched 3 to 4 times, right? And we're getting a lot of mileage out of that one video that you took 60 seconds to make and text out. Now, if you don't want to give out your phone number, a lot of people always ask about that. You can just use something like Text in Church, right? That way you're using like the church phone number to text it out. You're not having to give out your personal cell phone number if you don't want to. Me personally, I just send it from my cell phone. I don't mind people texting me and getting to know folks and stuff, right? But if you don't want to give that out, you could use Text in Church, something like that. But a really, really powerful way to reach people and get people back in the door for a second visit. Okay, number 6, I told him I would prioritize collecting contact information. This is something I think we, as a church, we kind of forget about this. This is a huge opportunity that a lot of us have, right? So, of course, most of us have Connect cards out there, right? And I think even the churches that, even if you don't have a Connect card, you probably know that you should, right? Like, and you want to collect the info of new visitors, right? But what about if you have some type of an event, right? Like let's say like a trunk or treat or an Easter egg hunt or, some type of like cool Christmas event, and you have people come out. How do you collect their information? This is, and here's why this is actually near and dear to my heart. I was on staff at a church years ago, right? Probably 10 or 12 years ago. And we used to have this huge like Easter egg hunt every Easter, right? So the church ran about 600-700, but the Easter egg hunt would have like 5,000 to 6,000 people. And it was not a huge town, right? The whole town came out to this thing. The problem was basically nobody came back for Easter, right? So we would have it on Saturday. Then on Easter Sunday, none of the people that came to the Easter egg hunt would come back to church, right? Why? Well, we didn't invite them, right? And we didn't really know how, right? To be fair, like we were trying, we didn't really know what to do. But here's the deal: like if we had just done a release form, right? Now, every time you do any type of event and there's kids involved, people always know, yeah, you got to sign a release form, right? So that if my kid trips on an Easter egg hunt, I promise not to sue you, right? Just have everybody do a release form, right? Or registration or whatever it is. But if they sign a release form, right, and just have them put their name, email, and phone number, right? That's it. They don't need anything else. Just name, email, and phone number, right? So think about that. If we had done that at that Easter egg hunt, the first year we would have had 5,000 names, emails, and phone numbers that we could have then turned around and we could have emailed and texted and invited them out to Easter the next day. But the cool thing is, right, we also did a family fun night every fall that had about 3,000 to 4,000, right? So let's call it 3,000. So we get 3,000 more names. Now that list is 8,000. But then come back around, boom, Easter egg hunt again, right? We get another 5,000 names. Now that's up to 13,000. And then check my math on that, right? Then we get back to the fall again, right? Boom, we get another 3,000. Now we're up to 16,000 people, and it's only been like a year and a half. Okay, right? Imagine what would happen if that compounds over the years. Imagine what it would be like if you had 16,000 emails and 16,000 phone numbers of people who had already been to your campus and had a good time that you could now turn around and you could invite to Christmas, Easter, a new sermon series, guest speaker, right? Anytime you had a new church event. This is really, really powerful. Most churches don't think of this, but I would prioritize getting contact information, especially at your events, right? Registration is a great way to do it. Release forms are a great way to do it. You can do it digitally if you want to. Just make sure you're connecting contact information so you can invite people back to church. All right, number 7, I would call through the database twice a year. Okay, now this is going to take time, right? Depending on how many people are in your CRM, this is going to take time and there's no way to outsource it, right? Again, that's the point. This is supposed to be personal one-on-one. Now, if you have a staff or like a pastoral team, you could divide this up amongst the pastoral team, right? Like if you're a small church and maybe your church is running 70 people, there's nobody else, right? It's just you, right? So maybe you've got about 70 people that show up every single Sunday. Maybe you got 200 on the rolls. It's going to take you a little while to call through 200 people, right? But I mean, let's think about it. Like you could block off a couple of days. You could easily call 50 people a day, probably more than that, right? But let's just say that you can talk to 50 people a day. It'll take 4 days, right? You're going to do that twice a year, right? That's it. And all you're going to do is just ask people, hey, how they're doing. Hey, John, I haven't talked to you in a while, man. How are you, right? How's the family? How the kids doing? Man, awesome. Yeah, listen, I don't need anything. I just want to call and check on you, man. Like, things going good? How's life? Man, how can I pray for you, bro? Right? Do you know, like, especially in this day and age, right? Like, man, with everything being automated, right? And AI and chatbots and all this different stuff, right? When was the last time, like, somebody just called just to check on you, right? It means a lot to people, right? And what happens is you don't even have to invite them back to church. They're going to automatically start coming again, right? So you're going to re-engage people, get them back in the doors. But more than anything, you're going to do ministry and you're just going to show people that you care about them, right? This is really, really powerful. Okay, and then number 8, you want to text the database twice a year, right? So here's what I would do is basically once a quarter, right, you're going to reach out. So maybe Q1, you're going to call through the database and have a conversation with every single person that picks up. The ones that don't, you're going to leave them a voicemail, right? And then in Q2, you're going to send a text message to every single person in the database, right? Again, you can use a great tool like Text in Church, or I think there's some other ones out there. And the cool thing is you can actually customize it, right, with their first name, right? So it'll say like, hey, John, this is Pastor Chris. Man, just thinking about you, bro. How can I pray for you, right? Like, man, that means so much to people, right? How can I pray for you? But we did this at my church and we got thousands thousands of responses. It was amazing, right? And then we jumped in and we're having conversations like through text back and forth. So it's a great way, right? So, right. And then in Q3, you're going to call through the database again. Q4, you're going to text the database again. Call through it twice a year, text everybody twice a year. But this is a great way to just, man, do ministry, stay in touch with everybody. And it's really, 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 really effective. And then finally, number 9, prayer ads. Again, if you're new to the channel, you might not have ever heard about prayer ads, but this is something I talk about a lot on here. In fact, we've got a lot of videos on prayer ads, so I'm not going to go in depth about this. But basically, it's just running an ad on Facebook and Instagram with a picture of you or a video of you and your spouse and just saying, hey, what's up? My name is Pastor Chris. How can I pray for you? Everybody wants a pastor praying for them, and it's really, really cool, right? This is kind of like the equivalent of, I talked to a church the other day. It's like, hey, we've been doing door knocking, right? And we just go to the neighborhoods and we just spend all day like knocking on doors, right? And inviting people to church and praying for them. I say, great, how's that working? They're like, well, it's not. So, okay, so spend a lot of time, right? Spending a lot of time, but not reaching a whole lot of people, not getting great responses, and definitely not getting any visitors from it, right? But think about, this is kind of like the digital equivalent, right? Prayer ads of driving into that same neighborhood and holding up a sign that says, how can I pray for you, right? And then the people that actually want prayer come out of their houses and come to you. If you're knocking on doors, you're interrupting people, right? Like they're in the middle of stuff. It's the middle of the day and they might be at work, right? You're interrupting them. But if you're just holding up a sign saying, how can I pray for you? Then all the people who want a pastor praying for them come out of their houses, they come to you, and it shifts the dynamic completely, right? And now you can have a great conversation with people and you can pray for them, right? So I love to use prayer ads. I've helped over 1,000 churches now use prayer ads, believe it or not. It's been amazing. And I get testimonies all the time. I saw a church of 15 grow to 50 in only 2 months using prayer ads. I saw a church of 60 grow to 110 using prayer ads in about 3 months. And I saw a church plant of about 130 go from 130 to over 200 in only 3 months over the summer using prayer ads. They're 2 largest membership classes, people actually joining the church in July and August, right? Pretty cool. And again, it's just different because this isn't marketing, this is ministry, right? Now you're kind of shifting it, right? So instead of inviting people to church so that we can do ministry, right? Which makes sense. Like, hey, we got to get them in the door. Let's invite them so we can get them saved, get them baptized, plugged into a small group, right? Actually do ministry. What this does is instead of inviting people to church so we can do ministry, it flips it, right? And actually we do ministry first and then we invite people to church, and that changes everything. Okay, so if you found this video valuable, please like and subscribe so you get all of our new videos and new content. Make sure if you want that 101 church growth ideas PDF, right? 101 church growth ideas you've probably never heard of, just go over to churchfuel.com/101ideas. And if you like this video and you want to go a little bit more in depth on something like the prayer ads, then I recommend going over and watching my other video, how to grow your church congregation. Man, thank you guys so much. I'm praying that God does exceedingly abundantly above and beyond all that you can ask or imagine, and that everywhere the sole of your foot treads, you're on land the Lord has given you, that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, but every single thing you put your hand to will. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.